I rarely like all-in-one plugins, meaning plugins that are meant to basically just process an entire source all in one. It does the compression, it does the EQ, it does the effects, all in one plugin. I usually don't think they sound very good. But today I want to show you one that I actually think sounds very good and is a special plugin. It's called Gilder Vox. It's by my buddy Joe Gilder, and I have no real affiliation other than that Joe's my buddy, but he did not ask me to make this video. He did not pay me to make this video. These are just fully my thoughts and my opinions on this plugin. When he sent it to me, I gave it a test run with pretty low expectations because, as I said, I don't typically like plugins like this. And I was immediately blown away. So the idea with this plugin is that it is an all-in-one vocal plugin that allows you to dial in a clear, clean, professional vocal sound quickly with just a handful of knobs. It takes away the confusion and all the options, and it basically just gives you a work through each of these things and determine if and how much of any of them that you want. And once you dial in these, I think there's 7 knobs here, your vocal is going to sound great. So check this out. This is a completely unmixed vocal. I'll turn this off here and let's just listen to it in solo. This vocal is unmixed right now.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest, and now I see he's trying to give up all those ways.
And then I'm going to put on this plugin. Check this out.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest, and now I see he's trying to give up all those ways.
I mean, that's a pretty wild transformation, right? That basically goes from fine, clean, decent recording to a finished level vocal sound, and it's only these handful of things. So let me actually zero out what's going on with this plugin and walk through how easy it is to dial in a really professional vocal sound with this plugin. So you can basically just work from top to bottom, starting with compression. And typically I EQ before compression, but on vocals, it's not uncommon for me to actually compress first to get that compression into the source. It makes it a little easier for me sometimes to figure out what I should be doing with my EQ moves. Because vocals are so dynamic inherently, a little bit of compression first can actually help you figure out how much of the EQ moves you want to do. So with this vocal, we're just going to listen to the vocal and just turn this knob until it's contained
all those ways.
The amount that you want. Don't be afraid to be aggressive with this. If you're working on a slower, gentler song, you might want to have some lighter compression. It's just tickling. We're just seeing a little bit of compression up here. But if you're working on a song like this, it's kind of a bluesy rock song. It's not, uncommon that I might really be hitting it pretty hard here.
Now I see he's trying to give up all those ways.
And this is actually, I've heard Joe explain it, that this is actually serial compression. This isn't just one instance of a compressor, but multiple instances of compression doing small amounts of work, which I think explains why it sounds so great. But all you need to do is just dial up the knob until you both hear and maybe see, if visual cues help you, the amount and the sound of the compression that you want. After that, when you set a compressor, it's very common because S's are quieter and T's and sibilant sounds are quieter in volume, but are perceived louder. They don't tend to get compressed as much, but then their volume tends to be turned up with the makeup gain that's applied by a compression. So when it turns down the louder sound with the compressor, the S's and T's get brought up. And so a DSer is a great way to address the harshness that compression kind of inherently adds. You don't always need to use a DSer, so if your vocal sounds great to you, don't worry about this knob right here. But if you are getting some of those harsh S's and sh's and T's and things like that, this DSer, again, just a one knob DSer, super simple and sounds really great. Check this out.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest, and now I see he's trying to give up all those ways.
So you see he's doing nothing except when there's S's and T's.
But that ain't easy, babe.
So use your ears. Don't be thrown off if you have a lot of gain reduction. If it sounds good to you, it is good. Let's listen to it with a little bit less just for perspective.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest, and
there's a lot of harshness to those S's and T's to me. So if we dial it up here,
now I see he's closing in on being honest, and now I see he's trying to give up.
To me, that sounds really great, really natural for this vocal. Okay, then you just move from left to right across the tone. Mud remover, pretty obvious what this is. This is going to help tame some of the low muddiness that you get in a vocal. This vocal sounds nice and full, but there is a little bit of mud down there that I do want to clean up. So again, just one knob. Check it out.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest, and now I see
You could
he's
overdo
trying
it.
to give up all those ways.
Or if you're going for an effect, that could sound great. But in general,
That ain't easy, babe.
something around here probably on most vocals.
But I can make it easy for you. I'll be headed out the door, baby.
Yeah, much cleaner already, right? Now, smoother, this is really, really interesting. I actually reached out to Joe just to confirm exactly what it's doing. This is actually addressing something that happens when you sing really hard and you really are using your voice and projecting. It's pretty common that you'll get a little bit of kind of this 3 to 4K-ish bump in your vocal just when you're projecting really hard. And so smoother is just addressing just that area. It's basically a dynamic or multi-band compressor just kind of centered right around those frequencies that can get harsh. And it's really natural sounding. And in particular with this vocal, I think is really, really great. So check this out. There's a little bit of a harshness as she's pushing her voice.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest.
On the and now, right? So smoother is just going to just push that down just a little bit. This is pretty subtle, so you want to use it intentionally. You want to hear the problem first. I wouldn't say just turn up smoother just because you want a smooth vocal. But if you're hearing an issue where occasionally it kind of has, not harsh in the way that the S's and T's are harsh, but kind of it's almost a piercing-ish frequency. If you perceive that, then try this knob and see if that addresses it for you while listening to that section. And the way that she says the first couple of words of this line, I do hear that. So listen to it as I exaggerate it, and then we'll do it again, kind of scaling it back into the right way. So this is without any.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest.
And then exaggerated.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest.
Subtle, but it kind of tamps down the upper mid-range a little bit in a way you don't want necessarily that much. But if we just bring it up to where it's working and it's tamping down on those harshest 3 to 4K frequencies, it's going to help just smooth it out. It's a great name for it.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest, and now I see he's trying to give up all those ways.
Yeah, something like that sounds great to me. And then finally we have air. This is a high band, and my understanding is I think it might be dynamic based on how he's explained it. But either way, don't really worry too much what's going on behind the scenes. Just understand and listen to what it's doing and determine how much you like. So
now I see he's closing in on being honest.
Those are those bright, airy frequencies.
Now I see he's trying to give up all those ways. But that ain't easy, babe.
Something like that sounds great to me. So let's just really quickly do a bypass check. Listen to this off and on and notice how much we've already improved the sound of this vocal. So without it.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest. And now I see he's trying to give up all those ways.
And then with it.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest. And now I see he's trying to give up all those ways.
I mean, huge improvement. We basically mix his vocal, but he gives two more things here that are something that I more and more incorporate into my vocal mixes, and that's drive or saturation, a little bit of grit on the vocal, and then a slapback delay. I love the sound of a slapback delay, especially in rock vocals, but on a lot of styles of music. Now, real quick, I love this plugin, and I think this is something you should definitely check out, but I don't think it's a substitution for learning how to mix in general. If you're struggling with getting mixes that you're happy with in general, I have a completely free 6-step checklist to a pro mix that you can grab from the link in the description below that just walks through 6 steps to a professional mix, and it's really going to help you out. It's helped out thousands of people so far. I get emails every day about how helpful it is, so I know it's going to help you out. So be sure to pick that up for free from the link in the description below. But let's go and look at these last 2 knobs. Check this out. We're going to drive up the drive first and just listen to the grit that it adds. I'll exaggerate it and then we'll kind of scale it back to a more reasonable point.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest. And now I see he's trying to give up all those ways. But that ain't easy, babe.
Sounds great to me.
But I can make it easy for you. I'll be headed out the door, baby.
Yeah, I think there's a real sweet spot. Basically, anything up to around 3 sounds nice and smooth while still giving a little bit of that grit, but it adds a little bit of warmth. It adds a little bit of saturation, harmonic coloration, tames the transients just a little bit. It's just a good character. That's a good name for it. And then let's add a little bit of slap. I love slapback delay. Let's check that out on this vocal.
Now I see he's closing in on being honest. And now I see he's trying to give up all those ways. But that ain't easy, babe.
right? This sounds great. Now compare this to all the plugins I used when I mixed the original vocal here to what we have going on here. Much simpler, just a handful of knobs. They just sound good as they are, and they're very intelligently designed. Let's listen to it in the context of the mix.
And now I see he's closing in on being honest. And now I see he's trying to give up on all those ways. But that ain't easy, baby. I can make it easy for you. I'll be headed out the door, ooh, baby.
So this is Gilder Vox by Joe Gilder. I'll link down to it in the description below. It's a really great vocal plugin. It's not something you necessarily have to have, and I think it's more important to learn how to mix in general, but this plugin sounds so good, I could see myself absolutely using it just to save time. It's so fast to dial this in, and it sounds so good, especially with a specific sound that you're going for. You could easily dial that in very quickly, something that sounds kind of like this rocky vocal tone. You could dial that in seconds, but it could work on all sorts of different vocals, so definitely check it out. I think it has a 14-day free trial, and I think it's on sale right now. They just released it, so definitely check that out and see if you can do the trial, see if you can get it while it's on sale. And if you don't already have it, be sure to grab my 6-step checklist to a pro mix. I'd rather you learn how to mix in general before just grabbing any of these all-in-one plugins, but I think that there's a place for these as well. So definitely check it out from the link in the description below. If you're interested in this plugin, if you think this is cool, please let me know in the comments below. And if there are any other plugins you want me to take a look at, let me know that in the comments as well. If this video is helpful, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week with another video.